certainly is. Like, there's so many ways for you to easily follow up on his engages. Meanwhile, KC, I would say that their composition is a little bit harder to execute, especially when you think about priority, right? So in the early game, Rumble, a champion that even after the repeated nerfs we've seen can still easily get priority in this matchup.
Gonna be able to get all of them?
One smite did come through from Yike, so he ended up stealing one away. So it's a 1-for-1, and it will be an advantage gained overall for CFO. Range advantage you have, especially once you get that upgraded E. It's just so easy for you to push and poke, and the champion can be extremely oppressive against, especially against a champion like Aurora. So nice control in the early game around these objectives from CFO.
Well, Jinjia still going to be able to get the stun. There's the Impale as well as it pulled out from underneath the turret. Targamas going down to 200 health as the teleports roll in. CFO with, yeah, I don't know about this one, Bloody. He's going to be able to get himself out of there, but slammed into the wall, and first blood going to Doggo. Gets so much of his damage down without having to worry about an Aurora, who does benefit so much from being able to layer all of these combos.
But with the Eclipse ready, he's going to have a lot of damage at his disposal. Here comes the flank.
Yeah, he's going to get the flash out as Honkyu just held in position. There is the public execution as Jinjia gets 3 in the Impale. Targamas over the wall, but they are outmanned. There's a true shot barrage onto 3 though, and KC are on the wrong side of the map with not a whole lot of health bar to speak of. Yike able to get himself out of there, but Junji is over that wall immediately. Not a lot of damage following after this fight, but he'll still get slammed into the wall, given that sunlight.
On the red carpet to just chip away at their HP, completely turn the tides in CFO's favor.
Kaiwing looking for even more here as Doggo raining the damage down. There's another kill for this Ezreal. Kaiwing looking to make his way out as now it's Canna's turn to teleport in. Kaiwing should be a sitting duck, but does manage to get the CC. He'll take out the Leona, but now Doggo wanting to chase after the Ambessa here. A lot of damage raining through these Mystic shots. All of them hitting. He's under the turret. He has the barrier though. It look very difficult to get through.
Ooh.
As Doggo, taking a big chunk. Canna now looking for his angle off to the side, smacked into the wall. There's the Impale onto 1. As also Vladdy getting that ultimate in there. A lot of damage as Kalist. Killer Instinct into the backline. Junjia takes down Yike though, and he's so tanky. It is absolutely absurd. True shot barrage, but Doggo's so low he can't actually get into the fight once again. This Flame Spitter just not quite enough. And Doggo, he just doesn't want to risk.
In terms of the objectives, they have just been dominating throughout this game.
Yeah, and I was looking for the eye. I was going down, checking out the sun. Like, they've just had a monopoly on all of these objectives.
Yep.
All over the map. 5 grubs going over to CFO. And as Junjia looking for that opportunity on a ward right now as Kaiwing. Gonna get publicly executed. Okay, they dive in, they take her down immediately. Junjia crashing them against the wall. Kana gonna be getting himself out of there as now Rest deciding that perhaps that wasn't the teleport angle he was looking for. A cease and desist on top of the Rumble. He flashes out of there, but the double knockup from Targamas is massive. Equalizer just trying to buy them some space, and it's Yike that goes down. CFO, why did that work?
Rest. Meanwhile, Targamas goes onto both Doggo and Honkyu, and the idea is good, but that Rumble ult to immediately dissuade them means that Yike is now way too deep because the rest of his team have kind of... KC, and as a reminder, this is a really important game for KC, especially given that their games do not get any easier.
Yeah, Kalist, he had full health a little while ago, and Doggo saw to that. Great arcane shift, but he still gets knocked up. Kalist gets into that back line, but the Equalizer still just being annoying in this fight. Targamas going to be the first to go down, and Kana, he's going to try and dash his way out, but of course, he's smacked into the wall and taken down. Shut down here for Honkyu as well. And we are going to get the GAs. The way I like to break them up, if you've got Rod of Ages, Arakan, and you've got GA Arakan.
I see.
And this is the GA that we've got. I really want Rod of Ages, man.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, it's a long day still.
That is things happen, and otherwise you just try and play for neutral. Just try and keep things as even as possible. As we found a pick towards his top side. Rest getting taken down low, but he does, of course, have the Arakan buff. That is going to take one of those recoveries away and does give some money over. But Vladdy, he's real dead. That's actual dead.
Avenge their top laner. And while KC have set their sights...
Can they do it again? And do they even have to? Because now it could be Kalist that's in trouble. Public execution just to get Kana out of there. Kalist gonna have to use that cleanse and the flash in order to escape, and I don't think it's gonna be enough. Doggo! Necessarily the Rumble as much, but Rest has been playing it exceptionally as, okay, they don't land the Solar Flare, but there's another two-man Impale from Junjia, and look at it, he hasn't even lost health! It is absurd, kind of trying to dash around the fight, but he dashes to the Death Chamber instead, and Yike He's running the wrong direction, and he's not going to be getting out of this one. Once again, Doggo just hops over, Mystic Shot for the kill, and he's now 5-0-4. He'll have an Infernal Soul in hand. They can take a Baron if they like.
Start to see how different playstyles can offer a lot of value.
Yeah. No, I actually think that it's going to get more and more valuable. I also think that coaches are going to be more and more important. But yeah, Doggo, free reign here on this bottom side. He'll be able to take an inner turret. That is going to be the last one. No idea.
Yeah, look at the positioning of Doggo right now as well. Playing comfortably behind his front line. He's even saying, go after Honkyu. It's fine. Target him instead of me. He's got the Zhonya's available, level 16. And
my God.
Look at the poke.
Death Ray has never been named more accurately. As, yeah, Kaliss going to be going back to the fountain to mend his wounds. First inhibitor to go down. As Rest chasing after Kana. He was the one that was going for the flank angle this time around as Yike makes his way back to his team. But look at this poke. KC just have nothing to offer back. We mentioned that range before, but when you have this kind of range advantage and then just a massive lead, it's just slow, steady destruction of KC's base.
They're just letting the cannon minions do the work for them, and why not? Now Rest brings the minion wave into mid. Another tower is going to fall, and KC, I mean, it feels impossible to win a fight at this point anyway, but they're going to have to try and pull the trigger soon.
Yeah, or it's decide on what to do in game 2. Because one more Nexus turret is left up and available. CFO, what an incredible debut here at first stand. As Junjia underneath this turret, just going to pull Yike away. Cease and desist comes through. They do manage to take down the Skana for the first time. That's looking good. But now Doggo is unleashed. The rest of KC, their Nexus is exposed. Kaliss needs to go back to the fountain once again as Targamas looking for that engage into that backline. Rest, though, just melts them. He's a walking barbecue, and yeah, he goes down, but so does KC's Nexus. CFO picking up their first win here in first
stage in there. But I wouldn't be surprised if they... Okay, yeah, so they're going to keep it stock standard. All right, so again, CFO, their approach is front-to-back team fight. They've got a lot of AoE, a lot of zone control. The great thing about this... Ooh, look at this.
Past the test of time as Junjia coming actually over the wall from the Dragon. That's a great engage from Kaiwing as Targamas completely off to the side. And now, Kaliss trying to play some Alcove Gaming, and unfortunately... Buttons and die. She was the best champion ever, which is why I loved her. She was brilliant. We're talking about the champion that's not in the game, though. She was at least banned throughout both of these. We might get her in a game 3 if we make it there. KC looking to try and deliver us
an
towards
objective
it.
Already, a positive.
In towards the Dragon that hasn't been taken just yet. As Kaiwing going to go for another engage. There's the Glacial Prison. Targamas going to have to flash. Does get the anchor out as Doggo picks it up with a double up. That is gorgeous.
I don't think you can contest this.
Well, he is walking around. Somewhat in range, actually, but it's going to be Yike that wins the Smite War. Hook going to connect, but Targamas is sort of just 1v1ing against Doggo. Junja right in amongst it now. It's Vladdy trying to get out of there. The flash forward from Junja is crazy, and Targamas finds himself caught out. That's a killing spree for Doggo, as Kana is towards this top side, getting something back for KC. As the flash forward from Honkyu, this young man going nuts against Yike, who's taken so much damage. The threaded volley will finish. Yike should be able to collect them. There we go. That is grub number 1. CFO still haven't pulled the trigger just yet, though. Doggo securing one of them, so it's maximum 5. And that is going to be what happens. Chains of Corruption come through, but Kaiwing turns it into engage as Driver gets a phenomenal crash, does immediately go down, and it's a double here for Yike. Junja says no. Remember, we're the team that gets all of the kills as Targamas going to be the first one to be taken down. He also looks for the next as Kana's put in prison. But not going to quite be enough. The Winters are up, unable to...
Sure, there is a scary front line that they have to deal with, but they have the damage in theory to deal with it.
Well, Weaver's Wall coming on through here is now Yike. He is cornered, and everything is about zoning. They move on over is now Kaliss. You're not going to be able to interrupt that ulti there as Junja gets over the wall, flashes back immediately as he realizes his mistake, and he will be ripped to shreds by that piercing arrow. CFO maybe bit off a little more they could chew that time around.
The Dragon getting very low. Yike on his way back, but there's no smites here.
Yeah, they do just interrupt the queue as Driver was pretty optimistic, thinking that his Scion was going to be the deciding factor there. Honkyu going to be getting to work here on the top side of the map, though, as second Dragon in a row here for KC is a big deal. And you can see the fans here at LoL Park agree.
Convert the fight in their favor. ambitiously drive. Oh, back in the action.
Yeah, crash down there from KazaLoLL. Going the wrong direction, though, as Kana might be the one that they're looking for. His health bar is relatively high, but unfortunately he can't move.
Happening throughout this series. You can't afford to rest on your laurels. The moment that you're out of position, this team will punish you for it.
Well, Driver going to come on over and get rid of all of these minions. I don't know about that one. Trains off the tracks a little bit here as Vladdy going to get rid of this turret and now go for the 1v1 that may take 7 years, but I think he might have the damage eventually unless Driver just gets towards the turret. Doesn't have the unstoppable onslaught though, as he does get that knock up. And Honkyu, he gets in there. Looking for that threaded volley as Junju just crash this way forward once again. We're getting that zoom in. Here comes the train. Chains of Corruption. CFO.
Distributing the resources evenly, which means that they don't have to no flash.
He just put his Leandries together, so he does a lot of damage, but they look for the Rel, who just says, I'm going to Magnet Storm you, and then even crashes down forward. It was a mistake because he dies, but it's going to be a win here for CFO. That is 3 on the bench.
Said, all right, bet. Like, he just threw down the ultimate and tore this opposition apart, as he has pretty much done throughout this game. He does not care.
Oh, right. Nice little stun is going to come through, but another Magnet Storm comes on down, and Doggo immediately flashing away from the ulti. Kalist not going to be connecting that one, and now they are moving forward. The double ups landing, and Doggo, he does so much damage. Honkyu looking for the seismic shove. Kana going to get that fat flash over the wall.
Commanding position in this really well. Look to put the final nail in the coffin. Yesterday, it was a 2-1 victory for TL, but CFO looking to make this.
To make something happen. Some poke damage onto KazaLoLL. That's a good start, but look at this. The Weaver's Wall set players, they just push Targamas into the wall. He's forced to flash to get himself out of there. Kalist's going to have to blow that cleanse to get out of prison. Vladdy on the top side of the map is going to make it a trade.
Even though they don't get all the early game objectives, they keep winning out on the fights, and now they find themselves securing the first tier 3 tower of the game. They've set their sights on the inhibitor, and what options do KC really have? Because if they try to go for the 5v5, I think the CFO's front to back is just stronger once again.
Yeah, this is the problem with falling behind against throw your life away. Things can really become a problem. It's not really the case here. That's, I think, why you'd say that this is far more of a simple composition. It's not even necessarily that it's simple, it's because I've heard some pretty big talk about Honkyu and what he has. Is now Kalist in trouble once again, and just picked off and destroyed. Another gorgeous shove there from Honkyu, the man we were just talking about. And I think he might have hurt us. He says, oh, you mean me? Let me just grab another couple of kills. 4-0-6 now for the Taliyah. They'll take down the last remaining inner turret. They're going to look for another inhibitor. Baron or no Baron, they are going to break another section of this base, and KC just left scratching their heads at this point in the series. It's been a whirlwind, and CFO have just left them in the dust.
CFO have made it look easy. A convincing game too, with very few windows of opportunity. They continue to punish, and it's just the fact that Junju's just such an effective driving force. He finds good angles to make plays happen. 1-1-11, the scoreline for him.
And Vladdy going to be able to stop Doggo, but look at all of these engages as stopped. Vladdy does manage to get a decent ulti and gets himself out of there, but Yike could pay the price. The AoE is going to be there, but when there's no follow-up, it does not matter, and they trickle in one after the other, but CFO stay as a unit to defend their damage dealer. This might be a little bit of an overstep as Honkyu just goes golden. And Driver is going to do exactly as his name dictates. They take a blast cone. That is going to break up the fight a little bit. And a Weaver's Wall, speaking of breaking things up, actually might be able to create some space here. But CFO, I don't, like, the health bars are low, guys. I understand your confidence.
CFO was trying to go back to base. They were trying to show them a mercy. Kana, at the very least, will get a pick.
Yeah. Shock Blast is going to be able to lock down Honkyu. Going to die for the first time. Also gets rid of some pages in that book. And now Junju, I don't know about that flash, as yeah, the train is going to be able to tidy up some of them. Doggo with the bullet time gets flashed out of there by Targamas as once again over the wall goes Vladdy. Though, as you can see, not a whole lot of avenues in for this one. As Kana, not going to be able to stop it. So the Purple Worm delivered towards CFO. And now one inhibitor lies between them and the enemy Nexus. As Targamas thinking about going for a heroic engage. Junju able to get out of the way. The Chains of Corruption. That's some buttons on cooldown now. As the Glacial Prison, it'll ring true. Doggo has to cancel his ulti early, but these autos are doing so much. And Honkyu from over the wall finds another flick. Driver I don't know about that one, but he gets a big old shield. Let's see whether he is going to go down. Does eventually go into that passive, but honestly, it works out just the way CFO wanted. And they're looking at a 2-0 in their debut match here at First Stand. What an incredible performance from this team.
Absolutely incredible. Convincing, coordinated, and well executed from start to finish. CFO looking strong in their first best of 3.
Yep, taking down the Nexus now as Targamas just looks to try and escape. And unfortunately, that is not going to escape the end of this game. Honkyu does the honors. The youngest player of the tournament will be able to grab that 50 gold for taking down the Nexus.
He's probably one of the best players of the region, Valdez.
Yeah, this gank early on in game 2, you know, he skips some camps, he comes down here, he targets the bot lane for the 2nd time in the series, and really, you know, he had a sight set on that bot lane early on to get Khalees behind, to get his bot lane ahead, and then, of course, he comes up here to the top side as well. He was just everywhere, and it's really clear what the game plan is for the Flying Oysters, which is just let this guy decimate the entire map, all the lanes, and get every lane ahead, and you'll win the game.
Yeah, his control is really good. And one of the things that we didn't have time to actually show is toggling the vision on the play where they picked Yike in mid lane. They got vision, and Junja walks up. He just acts like they don't know where he's there, and then they pincer onto Yike, and that's how they get this big pick onto Yike. And honestly, the control difference was just insane.
Yeah, absolutely beautifully done. From CFO, closing thoughts maybe for this matchup on KC. It's going to be do or die in the next matchups, and I want to say, it's
probably
going to
be die.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
gonna be die.
maybe we do like a therapy session or something for EU right now, because EU's schedule, the first 2 matches are supposed to be the easier ones.
Yeah.
And now it gets even more painful.
Yeah, it's just very sad to see that KC, you know, they're obviously not showing their top form, right? I feel like after that loss to TL, which was very close, and they were ahead in the beginning of game 3, it just feels like it's all been downhill since there. So it's kind of hard. You know, this is a tournament where you have to get wins, you have to get ahead, and unfortunately they've fallen a little bit too far behind.
It is tricky. It's literally show up or go home. We'll see if they can shift things around for the next matchup that they're gonna have against TES. But looking at the next matchup, it is gonna be Team Liquid versus Top Esports, and we want to focus on bot lanes. Yon versus Jackie Love is the featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz.
We turn our eyes to the bot lane in today's featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, as Yon faces off against Jackie Love.
Yike now going in, trying to lock up the Lucian. Nice disengage coming in from Core, and Yike's just about to get deleted. Yon now on a rampage. Kliss has to make the difference, has to take down Yon. TL taking everything.
Yon's star shone bright in the LTA, consistently performing for Team Liquid and taking Finals MVP in their 3-0 versus 100 Thieves. But he will have his work cut out for him, as he will face one of the best AD carries in the world, Jackie Love.
It'd be very nice if you guys supported us instead of that one guy who was screaming at me. I'm pretty sure that guy had a Jackie Love jersey and he was like, "This is your daddy" or something. I have no idea what he was saying, but like, it sounded like that.
You're fired!
Last time they faced was at MSI 2024, where Top Esports 3-0'd them, with Jackie Love only dying a single time in the entire series.
Disciplined in the face of the flank, not going to give that window, not going to give that option. Yon, hand delivered by 369. TN stepping up, and everybody on the side, and TL dropping down.
In this matchup, can North America's rising star Yon take down the world champion Jackie Love?
A decisive matchup here today, and it was a decisive matchup last time as well, Kabi. You set it up pretty well in the video.
But I feel like Yon is coming in really hot. I mean, off that Lucian Nami game with him and Core JJ, I'm actually really juiced. I became a believer.
Yeah.
I'm actually like, we got a nice taste. You know, we beat EU, and now I want more. I'm looking for another a little upset here over Top Esports.
It definitely will be an upset, but, you know, Yon may be a believer a little bit as well. He played Lucian, and I'm here at the LCK, at least for me. We're not big Lucian fans, but I saw that, and I was like, man, this guy can actually play the pick, and he's going to have to step it up again. He obviously played incredibly well against KC, so he's going to have to be the hero today if they're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, their bottom lane in general, because they have such a strong lane phase, they were able to get Core JJ also a lot of room to roam around the map. They set up so many traps with him controlling vision, camping on plays. And that's something he does really, really well with a lot of those engaged champs.
Absolutely. And 369 actually was the one saying that Western teams are usually pretty fast at figuring out the new meta. It feels like there's not going to be a lot of differences today. I feel like Yon and the rest of Team Liquid know their priority here at First Stand. They have their eyes on APA though.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams, when they play TL, have their eyes on APA. Maybe it's the mustache, you know, it draws a lot of eyes. It's also the champion pool. You know, the conversation's always around that. He does a lot of trash talk, but it really has been a big thing of focus with people trying to target ban. You know, his Ziggs, his Taliyah, again, I really think it doesn't have the biggest spotlight, but people are more starting to fully recognize it now as one of the super duper power picks for him. And so I think, you know, 369's, you know, correct in focusing in that area.
A lot of respect. And honestly, after the performance from TES yesterday, I'm expecting more from the top lane, from 369, but from the entirety of the lineup. So how do we expect this one to go, considering what we saw from Team Liquid and what we saw from TES, if we can have some trends here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big talking point. Again, just touching on how 369 was talking about APA and how they're very fast, the Western teams, at figuring out the meta. Certainly, it felt like top esports were not very fast at adjusting to coming over to Korea and playing their top game because they got absolutely smacked down by Life Esports, and it wasn't their top level. I said it before. I think that top esports are a much better team than what they showed. And I think TL, if top esports and Kanavi, who had kind of a weak day yesterday, if they show up, TL will have a tough time.
Yeah, I definitely think that.
Give us some hope, Cody.
Yeah, well, top esports are definitely going to perform much better in this series, I would say, for sure, than they did yesterday. I mean, 369 versus Zeus is a completely different beast than, you know, him versus basically everybody else in the world. I really thought, you know, coming into this tournament, 369 was playing really well. So I think that individual is going to be a lot better.